Hello arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Today I'm at the Gaming Zone in Tempe, Arizona. This is like a retro gaming store. They've got everything from NES, Super NES, Genesis, all the way up to our modern consoles, as well as they've got a secret small arcade in the back. So I thought this would be an excellent walk and talk location. So I'm gonna go ahead and head inside, check this place out. Okay guys, so just walking inside here to the Gaming Zone, Tempe, Arizona. About lunchtime here on a Saturday. Really hot outside, so I'm sweating a storm right now just making these videos for y'all, but you know, you got to get outside. You can't be inside all the time, even if it's hot. Gaming Zone, guys. This looks like a pretty cool spot. They've got these candy cabs, which I'm really interested in. There's those Vuelix and Chulix candy cabs out now. They got the retro ones here, I noticed, with like Street Fighter 3 and things like that. And here it is, guys, Gaming Zone. Okay guys, let's look at the hours here. It looks like Sunday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're here on a Saturday. So when you first come in, you're going to be greeted by this artwork here on the wall, the Gaming Zone. Zelda, Mario, Yoshi, some Pokemon. Thought this was pretty cool. And then you've got a claw treasure chest. And some retro consoles. I've noticed they have these PS1 games here, but they've also got Sega Genesis. Pretty good selection. You know, with the Arcade1up, we can get the Intech gaming deck, and in that Intech gaming deck, it has the ability for us to insert cartridges and play these on an arcade cabinet. So like, for instance, if we wanted to play Wheel of Fortune and not get the Casino-cade, we could do that on a Genesis cartridge via the Intech gaming deck that's available for the Arcade1up. So it looks like, guys, they've got lots of classic console games, PS2, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, pretty much all the classic consoles from back in the day, as well as some Xbox, a huge selection of Xbox games. And you know, they've got some really cool PS1 games with the cases and the artwork and the booklets. And you know, back in the day, there were some really good classic arcade titles for the PS1. Like this one, Williams Arcade's Greatest Hits. It's going to include Bubbles, Defender, Defender 2, Joust, Robotron 2084, and Sinistar. That's pretty cool. You get the case, the artwork, everything. All you need is a PS1 to play it. They got a pretty good selection of PS2 games here. And, you know, this SOCOM really brings back some memories. When we had our PS2 as kids, this online was such a big deal. This was the very first online compatible multiplayer game, and it was on the PS2, and it was called SOCOM. It was pretty clunky, but it was an advancement for our time to be able to play console games online. And Grand Theft Auto Vice City, that's a classic. This is probably my favorite PS2 game right here. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. two had stuck out to me: Capcom Classics Collection and Capcom Classics Volume 2. Look at that games list. And then this one's the volume 2. It says it has 20 arcade games on it. I still have my PS3. It's in very good shape. It's one of the later generations. I think it was the very last generation version of the PS3. And it had replaced my Gen 1. I used to love this game, Warhawk, right here. And you know, Warhawk, the servers on that game were up for a long time. They just took the servers down about 2 or 3 years ago. Got some PSP titles here. If you guys remember the PlayStation Portable PSP, and if you guys remember how popular World Series of Poker used to be. Here's a 4K Ultra HD Captain Marvel. I'm looking forward to the new Captain Marvel 2 called The Marvels. It comes out in November. I'm hoping it's going to be better than this one. Got a pretty good selection of Wii games here. I'm currently using my Wii via the AtGames Legends Ultimate to play light gun games. I've been playing the Resident Evil, Umbrella Chronicles, the Dark Side Chronicles, as well as I've been playing House of the Dead 1 and 2. We've got this case here. Probably a lot of these games are worth quite a bit. Some of these price tags here, like $180 for the Steelbook of Smash Brothers Ultimate. So I'm not sure what this NES title is back here. I bet you though, bad guy Mike Worley would know. This case is pretty cool here, guys. It's got some SNES titles, unopened it looks like. There's a Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3, Turok Rage Wars, I remember that one. I see a Game & Watch back there. I had one of those, or I purchased one of those at Walmart. A lot of Zelda titles here. This is kind of like the case of Zelda. So let's kind of go from the right to the left. Got Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, A Link Between Worlds, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, and Age of Calamity Hyrule Warriors. Very cool. And then we've got some of the Season 1 and Ages Zeldas. Those are going to be available now on Switch via the membership. And then we've got a Zelda Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance. And it says here, repros. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out. This is a really cool Michelangelo pop figure. I think that's pretty cool. Lots of Sega Genesis games. And some Sega CD. That Game Gear has some pretty cool looking colors on it. I've not seen one or anything like that before. So I've got this case here with some PlayStations, and we're going to probably start from the very OG, the very first one, and then we're going all the way here to the PlayStation 4 Pro. Very cool. And I have this PlayStation 3 right here. Alright guys, so these are their prices here. 1 hour is $7.99, 2 hours is $14.99. Okay guys, so I've got the entire arcade to myself right now, and I just want to do a quick tour of it so you guys can see. It's a very good use of space. It's just this one single room. They fit everything into here pretty nicely, I feel, using their space wisely. You've got your candy cabs here. They've got a total of 6 of them. They've got 3 or 4 of these console displays. They've got a Sega Genesis, a Switch, a Super Nintendo down at the end, as well as this PS2 playing Guitar Hero here. They've got their classic arcades over here with the Claw, the Miss Pac-Man, Tetris, Sega, the Lost World Jurassic Park, and Demon Front right there. Not heard of Demon Front. Dance Dance Revolution takes up a lot of space, as you guys can see. Lots of floor room dedicated to Dance Dance Revolution. They've got this Nintendo head-to-head here. They've put their racer right here. Their one and only racer is sitting here. It takes up a lot of room. They've got another console display. This is going to be an Xbox 360. And then a sports game here, Dirty Pigskin Football, a multicade with Fist of the North Star on the marquee, this Japanese style arcade here, and your House of the Dead. So they've got this Sega House of the Dead 2. I've actually heard House of the Dead 2 is a little bit easier to run than House of the Dead 1 in emulation. So, you know, if we do get a home arcade version by Arcade1up of a House of the Dead cabinet, what if it's House of the Dead 2? Would that be good? Would that be good enough if you don't get the first one? Maybe you get the second and third one. Just like the Wii. They had the House of the Dead 2 and 3 on that one game. So it's possible we miss one and just go straight for 2. You guys let me know, if they were to do that, would you still buy if we miss out on the first game? Also notice this House of the Dead is missing a marquee. You can see the light, which is kind of cool. It's just this fluorescent bulb that goes behind here. I know Arcade1up is doing something similar to this now with an LED light strip, and then they've got the see-through marquee which projects that artwork out to you. I did notice too with the new Street Fighter CE, they're doing double-sided artwork, reverse printed on the other side, and it does look a lot better. This cabinet here I've never heard of. Of course, it's in some other language. I would assume Japanese, but I don't really know. But it is that candy cab style where you're going to sit down at it. And it's got this very unique D-pad for the game deck. So very cool. Seeing some very unique and very different arcade cabinets here today at the Gaming Zone in Tempe, Arizona. Really unique selection of arcades here, guys. Look at this, Fist of the North Star. Never heard of this title before. So it's always cool coming to these kind of places where they've got arcades you've never seen or heard of before. Now what's cool about this place, it is $7.99 an hour. I'm paying by the hour for this, so I'm going to be able to try out all these. So I guess this was meant to compete with Blitz back in the day. Dirty Pigskin Football. You guys tell me out there if you ever heard of this arcade. Look at those joysticks, guys. It's literally a football. That is so funny. And 19K Fox would love this poster here. Aliens versus Predator. They've got this big poster here for LA Noire. I have played this on my PlayStation 3. It is a very good game. If you guys have not checked it out, I definitely suggest playing this title. It's very good. The music's excellent. So we've got a Sega title here called Sega Initial D version 3. It's a head-to-head racing arcade cabinet. Looks like you just have your up and down shifter, large steering wheel. Very cool. This is really cool, guys. They've got this head-to-head Nintendo. On one side they've got Tetris playing, and then on the other side it's Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, but I'm sure you guys can play whatever you want to play head-to-head. It's pretty cool. I really think Nintendo needs to get into the home arcade business, and if they're not, they should partner with Arcade1up to allow them to do those cabinets, because there's a huge market for anything Nintendo in home arcade. They've got a cool Ghost and Goblins up here, a Sonic Mania, and then they've got this Dance Dance Revolution here. Been seeing a lot of Dance Dance Revolutions at the arcade lately. Not a huge fan of Dance Dance Revolution. I know it is popular though. I see people playing this all the time. Okay guys, so they've got 3 classic arcades here. They've got Tetris, looks really good, it's in great shape. They've got a Jurassic Park Lost World, which this is a Sega title. I see these a lot. This was a big seller in the arcades back in the day. So you're probably likely to see a lot of these. And then over here, I've not heard of this one. It's called Demon Front. So very cool. And it looks like they're using some really good competition HAP joysticks here. Demon Front. So let's give this game a try. I've never played it before. Just like Metal Slug. On a widescreen, graphics look pretty good on this. I've said this before on Walk and Talks. I definitely think Sega Lost World is a possibility by Arcade1up. I think this would be an easy one for them to do after Time Crisis. It's name recognition, Jurassic Park. It would be easy to do. The emulation would not be too difficult on this title with their new chipset. And I could easily see us getting a Jurassic Park Lost World from Arcade1up. Guys, I've been talking a lot about Guitar Hero and how Guitar Hero would be like the ultimate home arcade, I think, right now for Arcade1up to do. And this is kind of cool how they've used a PlayStation 2 display and they've made it into a Guitar Hero. Adding these speakers, I would believe they added these Bose speakers to make the sound a little bit better. But I've seen people in our community, G.I. Joel, many others that are making these Guitar Heroes and just making their own custom versions. I think this is really cool what they've done with this. This would kind of give you that Guitar Hero satisfaction. If the sound's good and it looks okay even on the small display, it takes up less room. But this is the size I think Arcade1up should be looking at for a home arcade version of Guitar Hero, is something small in this size. Got a claw machine here. I'll tell you guys, I've not been to an arcade that does not have a claw machine. Every arcade needs a Pac-Man cabinet. If you'll see this one, they've chosen to use Miss Pac-Man. It's in pretty good shape. I do like the marquee on this. It's in, very bright. It's got the Midway logo with the Bally Company logo in there. Very cool looking marquee for Miss Pac-Man, and they have it right here at the front. So as soon as you walk in, there it is. It's going super fast on Pac-Man. This is like turbo. Can I pass stage 1? Did you see that? They've got a really cool poster here at the front of the arcade, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds. I've been playing this via PC, Steam version. I am then doing the OTG mode and the HDMI to my At Games Legends Ultimate, and I've been playing it online. There's still a very active community of online right now for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You got to get Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but on Steam I've been seeing a lot of people playing online. So this is really cool, guys. Game On Expo Retro Championships 2019. I'm going to be at Game On Expo next weekend, so look forward to doing some live streaming video there. They've got some Fortnite stations set up here. I'm sure they got a lot of gaming going on. But here's where the interesting stuff starts, guys. Boom. Look at this. Look at this. This is their candy cab section, guys. This is what I came for. This is what I wanted to see. Their selection of candy cabs. playing some Capcom versus SNK 2 on the Candy Cab with free play. I have played this through emulation. I've not actually played this on the arcade or Candy Cab. The idea, guys, of the Candy Cab is to put the chairs right in front so you can sit down, enjoy yourself for long periods of time. You can play against each other, you can play head to head. These are all 3 titles that I had speculated on this week. Hopeful we were going to get them at EVO. We didn't get any of them. So Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, or Capcom versus SNK. This is just playing Capcom versus SNK 2, but we didn't get the first one. So none of these were going to be made this year. It didn't sound like they weren't in the plans, but maybe next year with the new advanced chipset, maybe possibly with Arcade1up getting into a Candy Cab or doing a Candy Cab, it is possible. We've just got a little Super Nintendo game station right here. So if you want to play some Super Nintendo, relive your days back in 1991 and play some Super Mario World, you could. We've also got a PlayStation 5 here with Street Fighter 6 loaded up. That's pretty cool, I think. And then a Nintendo Switch game station here with some wired controllers so you can play Mario Kart. Here is an advertisement for the Gaming Zone. Buy, sell, trade after dark. The Gaming Zone. I like their logos and I like what they're doing with that. I think it looks really good. No outside food or drinks. Got another Switch here playing some Smash Brothers Ultimate. This is really cool. It's a Sega Genesis. I like that artwork. I love that logo there with the hedgehog. I think it looks really cool. And then they just got a flat screen CRT here with an old school 16-bit Genesis. Looks like it's got a multi-card in there, so you can play whatever you want. And some really cool Genesis artwork on the bottom here. These consoles here in these displays like this is what we used to see back in the day at GameStop and the video game stores back in the day. But these just remind me of like Tech Buzz Gaming in his basement, or Twisted Gaming TV in his garage arcade that he made. I just don't know, even if I had the money, if I would be getting into collecting these. I would probably use that space and that money for arcade machines. You guys let me know out there. Do you think these are something you want in your arcade, and are you trying to find some, these displays for these consoles? I just want to tell you guys, this great use of space and what they've done with this. The size of this room, it's just this one single room, is probably the size of some basements up north in the Northeast. Also, we see people like Twisted Gaming TV that have those areas above their garages. This is realistic for a home arcade, as far as size goes. And it looks like they've done a really good job with their use of space. They've got a lot of arcades in here, but they've also left a lot of room for gathering, events if they're going to be doing fighting tournaments or just gaming events. There's plenty of room for people to congregate and stand around, which I like that. And they've got a good variety. They've got the candy cabs over here. They've got the classic arcade cabinets here. You've got your Dance Dance Revolution, your Racer. Looks like they were trying to do like some sports games over here. But of course, with your shooters like House of the Dead, you want to leave plenty of room to move back. I like that they've done that. And then they've sectioned it off for these console displays here over on the right, with lots of really good artwork and marquees on the walls. Okay guys, so I just want to spend the last part of my time here. I got about 10 minutes left on my hour of free play, and I want to spend that time talking about Arcade1up and what we've been seeing over these last few weeks. We can use the arcade as the background for something to see while I discuss this. So we got to look back at everything we've been seeing, right? We've been seeing the leak of the Big Buck Pro Deluxe. Then it became coming soon on the website, as well as the Casino-cade. And we've also seen, many others like this new Atari 50th just come around on the Wayfair website. As well as recently we've just seen the Street Fighter Champion Edition Deluxe. So now we've got a very wide range of deluxe cabinets available or becoming available very soon. We've got our light gun game. We've got our new fighting game in Street Fighter. And we've also got our classic 80s Atari games on this Atari 50th. The only other deluxe that I think we have coming this year that outside of what I've just discussed, and of course the Casino-cade as well, that's currently available now. But the only thing we still have coming this year that has not been released is the Time Crisis Deluxe. We do know now it is a deluxe cabinet. It is not an XL. It is not a Pro. It's going to be a price of $799, and that's going to round out the rest of this year. We're not going to see any other cabinet releases that I know of for the rest of 2023. Now, we did hear Cyrus say this weekend at Evo during Beat Kong's Kong's Arrest live stream yesterday evening, which would have been Friday evening from Las Vegas. He said that we still have 7 more titles left in 2023. That's what I heard. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Did I hear wrong? If we have 7 titles coming still that haven't been released, what are those going to be? We've got Buck Hunter. We've got Time Crisis. We've got the Atari 50th. We've got the Street Fighter CE Deluxe. That's 4 cabinets. So what are the other 3? What are the other 3 cabinets that we have coming that could still come by the end of this year? Everyone's talking about Robotron, and we heard Travis MCP say that we're not getting any more 80s titles for the rest of this year. So my thought is we're going to get something from Raw Thrills. We overheard Cyrus say that Raw Thrills and they have a very strong relationship. I said this in a video about a month ago, speculating on all the Raw Thrills titles we could be getting in 2024. But now with this new information, knowing we're getting 3 more titles by the end of the year, it's not going to be an 80s title. It's not going to be anything advanced that can run, it's got to run on their current single board chip set, which is very underpowered. So what could that be? Just looking at these posters here up on this wall, just imagining what games that could be. Primal Rage would need probably the newer chipset that's coming next year. These Capcom beat 'em up games, we've already got these on the Shinku and the Yoga Flame. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, we've already got those. Metal Gear, that's going to be under the MVSX license. King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, all those are going to be under that license. Pocket Fighter, I just don't see it. Knights of the Round, again, another beat 'em up game. We've already got those on a Capcom cabinet. The Punisher we'll likely never see again on another Arcade1up. Street Fighter Alpha 2. Again, John D said that's not happening this year. Street Fighter Alpha 0, 3. Definitely not happening again. Champion Edition. We're getting the Deluxe. We saw it at Evo. Battle Circuit, again, another beat 'em up. Samurai Showdown under the MVSX license. We're definitely not getting Nintendo, so we'll leave that out of this. Ghouls and Ghosts. We are getting a Ghouls and Ghosts replica from New Wave Toys. Are we going to get a 3/4 scale in Cleveland? The Adventures of JoJo. Not powerful enough on the PCB that Arcade1up has. Saturday Night Slam Masters, Captain Commando, Final Fight. All these we're seeing on those beat 'em up cabinets. So what are the other three? What are the other three titles that we could be getting this year? We've got Street Fighter EX2. Not a very popular arcade game, not a very popular console game, not likely. Now Contra. I do like to mention Contra because PD7 said on Arcades Anonymous this week that that's a possibility. Us seeing a Contra. What do you guys think? They do have a license with Konami to do that. So there's lots of possibilities out there, guys. Lots of possibilities for those last three. And to be 100% honest with you guys and up front, I have no idea what these remaining three titles could be. But I will tell you, it's very likely that it will be something involving Raw Thrills, would be my guess. So do we get another Golden Tee? Do we get a Golden Tee XL with a BOE screen? Do we get a new Golden Tee Deluxe? I think that's a really good bet. We do still have the Miss Pac-Man Deluxe. Keep in mind, Miss Pac-Man. Now that's kind of a unique Miss Pac-Man because it's using the Pac-Man, yellow Pac-Man artwork, which brings up the point of the Pac-Man XL. That's still unreleased. So do we count the Miss Pac-Man and the Pac-Man XL as one of these titles that we're getting, these 7 by the end of the year? I think that's a pretty good explanation for those last 7. So let's say we count Pac-Man XL. Let's say we count Miss Pac-Man Deluxe. And let's say my Golden Tee theory is correct. That would round out our final 7 titles for the rest of 2023. If I had to put money on it, I would say we're getting a Golden Tee XL, a Miss Pac-Man Deluxe, a Pac-Man XL, a Big Buck Pro Deluxe, a Street Fighter CE Deluxe, a Time Crisis Deluxe, and a Casino K. That's our new releases or re-releases for the rest of 2023. Now, starting next year in 2024, all that is going to change. Because then they're going to be under the new chipset and they're going to have a more powerful PCB or single board chipset, SBC or SBC, to run pretty much whatever we want. Whatever is in the arcade realm of possibility would be at their disposal with that new chipset starting in 2024. So a Capcom versus SNK 2, a Street Fighter 3, and a Street Fighter Alpha 3. Maybe even a Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 could be in our future starting next year. So just some good Arcade1up talk for a Saturday inside the gaming zone in Tempe, Arizona. So you guys let me know in the comments and let me know what you guys think. What are these next 7? Did the 7 I gave you in this 10-minute short clip here, does that make sense? Do you think that's what's going to happen, or do you have another idea or another theory of what we may be seeing before the end of the year? I'll meet y'all outside. We'll wrap up this walk and talk outside. Okay guys, that's going to conclude our walk and talk. at the Gaming Zone in Tempe, Arizona. Had a really good time here today. I like their selection of retro gaming consoles, and their arcade was fantastic. I like how it's laid out. Even though it's small, you get a pretty good variety of, you know, the candy cabs, the classic arcades, as well as the shooting games. They got a racer in there. I think it's a pretty good selection, a lot of fun, and for $8 for the hour, you can't beat that. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this walk and talk, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.